A long time ago, a wise hermit named Arlen lived near a thick forest. Arlen was known throughout the nearby villages for his wisdom. People would come to him with all sorts of problems, and he always found a way to help them see their situations clearly. One day, as Arlen was walking back to his hut after collecting some herbs, a young man named Elias stopped him on the road. Elias was troubled, and he had heard of Arlen's wisdom. Elias said, "I've heard many stories about your advice, Arlen, but I don't believe anyone can truly solve the problem I'm facing. I want to ask you something important. Why do we feel so much fear of failure, and how can we achieve our goals without letting that fear stop us?" Arlen smiled gently and replied, "I will answer your questions, but first walk with me to my hut." Curious, Elias agreed to follow the hermit. Together, they walked through the forest until they reached Arlen's small wooden cabin. By the time they arrived, the sun had set, so they ate a simple meal and went to sleep. The next morning, Arlen suggested a walk through the woods. Elias, eager to learn, agreed. After walking for some time, they came across a large, mysterious cave. Arlen pointed to the cave and asked, "Would you like to explore it?" Elias, intrigued, said yes. They entered the cave, but it was much darker than Elias expected. The walls were damp and the air was thick with silence. Suddenly, as they ventured deeper, Arlen slipped away and quietly closed the entrance, leaving Elias alone in the dark. At first, Elias was confused. He called out, "Arlen, where are you?" But there was no response. Panic began to set in. The darkness pressed down on him, and his fear grew stronger with each passing moment. He ran to the cave entrance, but the door was sealed. No way out. His heart raced, and his mind filled with thoughts of despair. Has Arlen abandoned me? Will I ever get out of here? For hours, Elias wandered through the cave, desperately searching for an escape. He grew hungry and thirsty, but most of all, he was consumed by fear. Just as Elias felt like giving up, he noticed a faint light in the distance. There, at the top of a steep tunnel, was a small opening where sunlight was streaming through. Hope flickered within him. Although the tunnel was high and difficult to reach, Elias pushed aside his fear and focused all his energy on climbing toward the light. He struggled at first, slipping on the rocks and feeling the weight of exhaustion, but he didn't stop. He pressed on, one step at a time, until finally, after what felt like hours, he reached the top. When he climbed out of the tunnel, there stood Arlen waiting for him. Elias was furious. Elias said, "Why did you leave me in that dark cave? I was terrified. I thought I was going to die." Arlen smiled and handed Elias a cup of water. "Calm yourself, Elias. Now that you are safe, let me explain." Arlen spoke gently, but with wisdom in his voice. "You were able to escape the cave for two reasons. First, you were driven by your thirst and hunger. And second, you had no distractions. No one was there to tell you it was impossible or suggest an easier way." Elias listened quietly as Arlen continued. Arlen said, "In the cave, there were no voices of doubt or confusion. You focused only on the light, the goal. Had there been others with you, they might have said, 'It's too high, you can't reach it, or let's find another way.' But because you were alone, you could concentrate fully on getting out." Arlen paused for a moment and then added, "This is the way of success. In life, many people will try to fill your head with doubts. They'll say things like, 'That's too hard,' or 'Why not try something easier?' And slowly we start to believe them. We stop focusing on our goals and get distracted by the fears and opinions of others." Elias nodded as the realization dawned on him. Arlen said, "In the cave, there was nothing to distract you from the light at the end of the tunnel. If you had seen the dangers, the pits, the insects, the obstacles, you might have hesitated. But because you focused only on the light, you kept moving forward." Arlen's words struck a chord with Elias. Elias said, "I understand now. The fear of failure comes when we listen to the doubts of others or get distracted by the difficulties along the way. But if we keep our eyes on our goal, just like I kept mine on the light, we can succeed." Arlen smiled, pleased with the young man's insight. "Exactly, Elias. Keep your focus on your goal and do not let the voices of doubt pull you away. When you do this, you will find the strength to push through any challenge." Elias thanked Arlen deeply and promised, "From this day forward, I will not let fear or doubt stand in my way. I will focus only on my goals." With newfound confidence, Elias returned to his village, ready to face life with a renewed sense of purpose. And so, the lesson of Arlen and Elias teaches us that the fear of failure only has power when we allow it to. By staying focused on our goals and not getting distracted by doubts or difficulties, we can achieve anything we set our minds to. So, the next time you find yourself in the dark, remember to look for the light, stay focused, and keep moving forward. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more inspirational content. Keep striving toward your goals, and remember, success is just one focused step away.